A dive team was asked to install J-bolt patches as a temporary repair for 2 holes in a crude oil tank barge. The 2 holes were at a depth of approximately 25 feet. The dive team consisted of 2 scuba divers and a diving tender to control the safety lines from the pier. The 2 divers entered the water to remove a wooden plug from the first hole and install a J-bolt patch. Both divers had safety lines attached. After installing the patch, both divers returned to the pier and exited the water. Diver number 1, wearing blue, remained on the pier, while diver number 2, wearing yellow, re-entered the water by himself to tighten the first patch that was installed. Diver number 2 had a safety line attached for this dive, but the line was not tended. After tightening the patch using a pneumatic wrench, diver number 2 exited the water. On his third dive, diver number 2 re-entered the water by himself to move the air hose, safety lines, and magnets from the location of the first patch to where the second patch would be placed. The air hose and safety lines were attached to the hull of the ship with a magnet. Diver number 2 did not have a safety line attached because he was relocating it. Diver number 2 had been in the water for over 10 minutes, while diver number 1 was on the dock mixing epoxy. He called the tender off his break to help him with preparing a patch for the second hole. When the tender returned to the dive location to assist diver number 1, he noticed that the air hose and safety lines were not attached to the hull, indicating that diver number 2 failed to reattach the lines. He became suspicious that something was wrong. Diver number 1 put his scuba equipment back on and entered the water to find diver number 2. Visibility was very poor, so diver number 1 could only search by feeling with his hands. After a search of approximately 10 minutes, diver number 2 was found unconscious and was removed from the water. Diver number 1 attempted to resuscitate diver number 2 by performing CPR. His efforts were not successful. Let's look at some of the contributing factors that led to this fatality. While in the water, scuba divers must always be tied to a safety line and line tended from the surface, or accompanied by another diver with continuous visual contact at all times. A standby diver must be ready to provide assistance whenever a scuba diver is in the water. Scuba divers must carry a reserve air breathing supply. When line tending from the surface, a tender must never leave his post. The designated person in charge must not let other tasks detract from his prime responsibility, the safety and health of dive team members.